Hello everyone, this is Colin on the ASA League channel, and here we are for the Kyle Open Amateur Series, Race 14 at New Jersey Motorsports Park. This is the series' last trip to a road course race, and the last chance for those drivers who really perform on road courses to get it done. Here are the point standings as we are now 3 races out before we end it off in Dover, and as we see Logan Sanders continues to hold the lead. However, from about 10th on down, they are dangerously far away from first place that they may not have a good shot at it, especially around 12th on down, which is 81 points back. They are out of contention at this point in time. But as we see, we're going to get our starting lineup here today. Garrett Sonora is on the pole with Jack Porkins to his outside. Row 2, Moretta Zrischel and Jake Baskinger making it 2 teams in the front 4. Row 3, Nick Vequez and Megan Johnson, good starting spots for them. Row 4, Chloe Baker and Nia Devert, 2 of the female chase drivers in the series. Row 5, Conrad Cooper and your first non-chaser, Robert Harrison. Row 6, Alan Eberhard and Logan Sanders, both inside the top 4 in points, starting in that row. Row 7, Brian Thompson and Castle Radcliffe, 2 drivers realistically out of a shot of making the final in the championship round. Dan Klenick and Cam Gadu make up Row 8. Row 9, Zach Rain, and good starting spot for Tanya Breyer in the Rickwood Racing Chevrolet. Row 10, Andrei Popov and Davey Johnson, Davey in 6th in points. Row 11, Richardson Racing teammates, or Hoffman Motorsports Racing teammates of James Richardson and Ethan McDowell. Row 12, Julio Caesar and Patrick Curtis. Row 13, Davidson Motorsports teammates of Chris Dodd and Ben Gerhardt. And in row 14, Jake Rogers and Dylan Membrilla. As that rounds out your field, we are just about set to go racing here. And as the pace card leads him down, green flag is in the air. Here we are racing at the last road course race of the Kyle Open Amateur Series season. And Garrett Sonora gets a pretty good jump over his teammate Jack Porkins as they go through the corners. And the field pretty much single file behind him. We have a car off in the grass though, and Tanya Breyer, 18th qualifying position, is now off in the grass. That's not how she wanted to start out the day. It looks like Klenick's going to get hooked by his teammate, and Tanya Breyer just happens to be the car on the outside and nowhere for her to go. And she's going to get spun off in the second corner of the first lap. Not how she wanted to start at the race. As always, this is a road course, and there are no cautions. So if you have a problem early in the race, you are realistically done from having a chance at making it to the finish with a good run at least. Don't know how many crashes we'll see. That's kind of what road course races depend on for these drivers in the back. But currently we've been pretty clean all weekend except for that one incident. But as we see at the front, we got Red Stallion Racing and Blue Flare Motorsports cars. Pretty much the 2 teams that have kind of competed, if you exclude Malley Motorsports, of course, with Logan Sanders. But we also have some other drivers back here fighting. How about Brian Thompson? You know, his season's been of huge disappointment, but having a good top 15 run for him, this is definitely what he wants to see. Not sure where Sharkbite Racing is going next season, and not sure if they'll be even back, but definitely this is a run that they wanted to see, and they've had coming for a long time. Currently just trying to make the best of it. As we see a pretty far away shot of the track, this is the boot in the back here, and to this part of the course we've seen a lot of pretty tight racing, and this is where you can make some passes. You see in these very sharp corners, you can get underneath someone and then move someone out of the way to try to make the pass. Will we see that come into play later today? Well, it'll be a question of if they can catch Sonora. Sonora's currently keeping a pretty good gap over Porkins and Zrischel, but currently it looks like they are still staying pretty compact for a road course. As we see Logan Sanders, your points leader, he's running with his teammate Chloe Baker. Baker is pretty much out of a shot at winning, but Sanders is in the best position. He's currently 264 points this season, and that is 3 ahead of Sonora, which is in second. Obviously, at the moment, Sonora will take over the points lead. In fact, I believe Porkins might actually take over second because he's 11 points back, and as you see, Logan Sanders loses another position. His top 10 run, never mind, Sanders is going to get on by, but the Red Stallion Racing teammates running right up front, they're going to gain a lot of points, while Sanders, well, he's still going to gain some points. Not as much as those 2 dodges, and Dodge really showing the way with Red Stallion Racing right now. Also, we have to mention that some of the drivers who are known for the road course racing abilities. Chris Dodd made his first start on a road course, as well as Ethan McDowell. This is his first ever attempt at a race, and he's going to qualify for it today. Great job for that 90 team. James Richardson also making the first start for one of the previously known as Richardson Racing cars in the Hoffman Motorsports camp now, and he's going to make the first start for them. We see Ben Gerhardt in the back. Oh, and there's a spinner! And there's 3 cars off the track, and it's going to involve Tanya Breyer, who made an awesome comeback, and that is going to involve all 3 of them. Dylan Membrilla, I think, was the other one. But Davey Johnson, the chaser, he came in here 6th in points. This may take him out of a chance to win the championship. As you see, looks like Tanya got into the 55 car and used the 11. Pretty much instant karma there for the 63 cars. Tanya will be the biggest loser out of all 3 of them. But definitely Davey Johnson had the most to lose. 27 points back coming into this race. He already did not have a good race going up to that point. And it's only going to get worse as he falls back in the running order. Garrett Sidnor, you see in the Avis Dodge, just continuing to lead the field around as we come up to halfway. Sidnor, we have not seen this much strength out of this 37 team. While he has been pretty strong and consistent to get into a second place position, currently no wins on the season, and he hasn't really contended for many. He's just kind of been there and avoided any of the problems we've seen in the past few races. One of the drivers that's actually been plagued by a few problems, Nia Deverett, was 2nd and was considered to battle Logan Sanders till the end earlier in the season, but has slipped to 7th in points. Still only 28 points behind. That is less than a race, so Deverett definitely has a chance, but seeing where Sidnor is, I wouldn't think so at this point. Deverett, as well as like Zach Rains, Rischel, and Johnson, I think that's going to really, having Sidnor out front is really going to put a hurting on their chances at winning the championship. As you see your mid-race report going along the right side of the screen, we also have a shot of some of the drivers in the back, such as the DBR teammates of Dan Klenick and Zach Rain. Also, I saw back there August Eberhard in the 14 car. Eberhard's 4th coming into this race, so a little better off than much of the chasers he's competing against, but definitely nowhere safe, seeing as he is 11 points behind Logan Sanders. We had a few cars come down for pit stops that time by. Cam Gadu, one of them. Also a few other cars behind. I couldn't quite make out who they were. But as we see the next time by, the rest of the field is going to end up coming down, as you get to see a little bit of the running order as they go through here. Pretty much maintaining a consistent order to where we started, and currently the front 3 have not changed positions at all. Rischel, though, has definitely fallen off in that last part of the run. A bunch of these cars are actually getting really tight going through the corners, but in the spotter area, it looks like these Red Stallion Racing Dodges, as you see, coming out 1 and 2 again. Definitely, they're just able to loop the corners better than anyone else out in the track. These drivers definitely have it dialed in. If you remember to Bristol about 2 weeks ago, we had Sidnor and other driver Ryan Kendall, who's not racing this race this week. Those 2 drivers finished 1-2, and if things stay the way they are, we're going to have another 1-2 finish by Red Stallion Racing. Super strong in the closing stages of the season for this Copper Redemption Series team. Definitely looking really strong. As we look back, though, we just cannot overlook the fact that Smart Motorsports has been doing so good this season in their part-time department. They've gotten a lot of their cars in. They have like over a 50% success rate in qualifying, and with how many people that come out day in and day out to qualify for these races, that's an incredible number. And it's for Harrison to make it in, as well as Smart, who runs the car sometimes, and Selspin as well. The team does a really good job at getting their cars in the field week in and week out. We should also mention Jake Baskinger is having a really good run, trying to make a move on his teammate, Meredith Rischel. Baskinger's season is definitely the opposite of what we expected. 16th in points, 119 points back. This is not what we expected from a Blue Flare Motorsports car. It just hasn't been there for Baskinger, and really he just wants the season to be over. He is not returning to this team, obviously, as their expectations were a lot higher than what he has performed this season. But definitely things could be a lot better. And we actually had an incident you see here. James Richardson's going to get turned off by Tanya Breyer. And every single incident so far on the track has been involving Tanya Brayer. This track has not been very kind to her. And as you see, James Richardson, he actually slid down the hill, so instead of trying to go back up the hill, he just re-entered the boot, and he's going to go around the track again. Oh, we have a car in the tire barrier now, and that's Ben Gerhardt, and what a disappointment. Gerhardt was running a top 20, and he's going to get turned by Andrei Popov, and they worked so hard to get this car in the field, and now it is going to get torn up in the tire barrier. Not what that Vincent Motorsports Dodge wanted to see, and Gerhardt's going to drop out of the race. Actually, your first DNF of the race. So tough luck for Gerhardt, as he had an okay race going up to that point. For Sanders, he's actually held in for a pretty good run today, despite where his competition's running. He's currently just outside the top 5 and 6th. The Eccentric Parts Toyota, not too bad today, just not as good as these guys out front, as we see the white flag is in the air. This is Porkins' last lap to have a shot at Sidnor. I don't think he's going to have a chance to get to him, though. Sidnor has just been too good out here today. He's not pushing his car too hard. I don't think Porkins is either. And you know what? Porkins, I think he's just happy to be taking these runs, because if he can keep up with Sidnor, he'll have a shot to fight with him at Dover. And, you know, teammates running for the championship. If you lose, you're going to lose to a teammate, and that's always the bright side to losing for Porkins. But he wanted to win this race, but it looks like he's going to go 2 in a row in second place. As for Sidnor, he's finally going to break a drought of not winning. Checkered flag as Sidnor gets his first ever career victory, and he'll take it here at the road course of New Jersey. And Avis will also go to Victory Lane, the first time they've been to Victory Lane since last season with Hergio Arvin Alonso. So congratulations to Red Stallion Racing, as once again they'll finish 1-2 in the running order, and Sidnor will celebrate with victory burnouts. As we see your finishing results, Zrischel Deverett is actually going to come up with a 4th, and Baskinger, I'm pretty sure he'll take a top 5. Robert Harrison continued to be the best part-timer all race long. He'll finish 6th. And your points leader, Logan Sanders, will finish 7th. Looking through the order, Tanya Brayer was actually spun off the track in the closing laps by none other than James Richardson. He somehow got back to Tanya Brayer and returned the favor, and that will take her out of a good finish, as she was off the track when the finishing order was produced. As we see the point standings, Garrett Sidnor is on top of the board, 8 over Logan Sanders and 14 over Porkins. Porkins was not able to close the gap on Sanders, but definitely the points battle is closing up as we head with only 2 races left towards Memphis and towards Dover. And the chase is really strengthening now, as we have a good battle at the front. We're going to have to see you next time at Memphis in order to finish off in going into Dover. So anyways, that's all for now. This is the Copper and Amateur Series on the ASA League channel, signing out.